What a time to be alive. All these cool retro things are coming back like Doom and the X-Files and now The Flood and Full House. Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare. So before I go too far into this, there was another expansion for Halo Wars 2 released called Operation Spearbreaker. You probably noticed I didn't do a review on that, and that's because there was only 2 missions, no blurred cutscenes, and no real story elements were revealed there. Having said that, even though there's only 2 missions, the gameplay was still fun. You get to see some new Sentinels, experiment with some new weapons and units, and even see the enemy use some new weapons against you. And that new Mantis was fucking kick-ass. So if you haven't already downloaded Operation Spearbreaker, it's highly worth it, definitely worth the price, definitely pick it up. So now on to Awakening the Nightmare. It's the latest installment of Halo Wars 2, the latest expansion, and we actually get blur cutscenes this time around. And for the first time in the Halo Wars 2 campaign, you get to play the Banished this time. I'm not going to try to spoil too much. If you've seen the trailer, you already know the premise of it. Basically, the Banished try to break into High Charity, which is still on the Ark, and in doing so, they release the Flood. And it's funny too, because a little over a year ago, I made a video theorizing that the Flood would someday make a return to the Halo franchise, and everyone said, "No, Tyrant, you're nuts, all the Flood's dead," and guess what? Back at you, motherfucker. Playing the Banished is really a treat this time around because all the weapons they used against you constantly throughout the rest of the game, now you get to use those weapons against everything else. And in turn, you don't have to worry about those weapons being used against you. The story elements here are pretty on par. I love the relationship the 2 brute brothers have with each other, the dialogue that goes back and forth. You can feel that they're close. These aren't just brutal enemies. They actually have feelings and thoughts and their own beliefs. Now, I know you guys remember that in previous videos I said I really didn't like it when they started humanizing the Covenant, and that still holds true, but if this is the direction they're going, they need to do it well, and 343 really hit the mark. And this isn't just about the dialogue and the cutscenes either. This transcends to the campaign itself into exposition, and it works perfectly. Pairing that up with the music, this feels like an epic RTS movie, and it does really well at going that direction. And what really brings this home is the enemy that you're fighting this time is the Flood. I'm so glad they brought these guys back because we haven't seen the Flood in a long time, not since way back in Halo 3 back in 2007. And I love the way they did the Flood in this game. This is the first time since Combat Evolved the Flood really feel like they earned their name. You'll have events that happen in campaign where Flood will be swarming across the screen, just a sea of infection forms, a literal flood of Flood. Combined with the music that's going on and the intensity of the situation, you can't help but get an adrenaline rush and feel a sense of dread. That's something difficult to pull off in an RTS, and 343 did a great job of doing it. It's interesting comparing the Flood from Halo Wars 2 to the original because I love the way they did it in the original, but I feel like they concentrated more on the environment, whereas this time around they're concentrating more on the units. One of my favorite units that you see in this game is called the Abomination. Now, it looks a lot like the Flood Juggernaut that was canceled from Halo 2, but I'm glad they finally found a way to utilize that model and do it effectively. It's a huge, towering, hulking mass with a lot of health, a lot of power, and it can really damage your base and your units. This is a type of enemy I could easily see coming back as some sort of mini-boss in future installments of Halo, an actual FPS boss. Way better than this guy. And I feel like they cut out some of the more useless Flood units from the original game, like the flying ones. They didn't really do much there, and they wouldn't really do much here either. They do have flyers in this game, but they're like jellyfish type units, and they're more effective, and they feel a lot more Flood-like than anything I saw in the original Halo Wars. And I don't want to spoil too much here, but the boss, the final boss at the end of the game, is perfect for this scenario. And while I don't want to spoil the ending for you, I will say the ending was perfect for this game. It wrapped up the scenario well while still leaving it open-ended for a possible future expansion. I don't want them to go too nuts with the expansions. I'd like to see at least one more mission added, maybe before the next major Halo title, to sort of link Halo Wars 2 and that title together. That's right, make it an even 20 missions. And that's the other thing, this game didn't feel too long or too short. It fit the narrative perfectly, and that's all I can ask for in a game, and it's something that rarely does happen nowadays. Each moment in this mission felt epic, it felt like it belonged. There was never any slowing down in the pace. Even in the beginning, you get to control a freaking scarab. And that feeling of epicness lasts throughout the entire expansion, all the way up to the awesome ending. I had my doubts on the vanilla version of Halo Wars 2. I gave it an on sale rating, but this expansion honestly makes the game feel complete. And if the campaign isn't enough for you, they also introduce a Flood Firefight mode. I don't usually hear about Firefight mode type settings in an RTS game, but they make it work, and I can't think of a better species to fit Firefight than the Flood. I hope in future installments, if they include Firefight, and they goddamn well better, I hope they include the Flood this time around in addition to the Covenant and the Prometheans. The new campaign is epic, the Flood Firefight mode is incredible, and the new leaders are awesome. And for that, I will say that Halo Wars 2 Awakening of the Nightmare is absolutely worth buying at full price. I had an absolute blast with this game, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And I want you to let me know, what was your favorite thing or event that happened in Halo Wars 2 Awakening the Nightmare? You can let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. And if you want to become a premium member of the site for as little as $1 a month, get tons of rewards and prizes, and help keep this site alive, don't forget to check out my Patreon site. Again, a link can be found in the description below. And if you like this video and you want to see more and you want to stay up to date on all your Halo news, tips, tricks, and secrets, don't forget to click that subscribe button for more great content every single day right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thanks so much for watching, guys and gals. I'll catch you all right back here next time. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.